Hey guys, what's going on? This is Kyle at ProjectionHub, and in today's video, I'm going to show you if I was starting a business and I was thinking about or knew I needed to write a business plan, this is the first thing that I would do, and it's using some free AI tools, and I don't say that to scare you away. I say that to make this sound easier. I'm going to demonstrate for you what I would do, the very first step I would do when it comes to writing your business plan to make you feel more confident and more prepared. Not only test your idea and feel like you're prepared to do this, but also to save you a ton of money and get you set up for the next steps to kind of officially launch your business. I'm going to demonstrate how to do that for you here today. If you like this video at any point, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing to the channel. We help people create financial projections, write business plans, prepare for getting SBA loans to start businesses, buy businesses, grow businesses. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to drop a comment down below the video. You can reach out to us at support@projectionhub.com. We love answering questions and giving some free guidance. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this. All right, so here we go. Now, this is not some major magic secret that you can use free tools, and I'm going to show you how I would use it if I was writing a business plan. This is the first thing I would do. Now, it doesn't matter which tool you use. You can use Gemini, you can use Grok, you can use ChatGPT, you can use Claude. I don't really care, and I don't think it really matters. All of these, I think, have a free tier or ability to do this at some point, and so that should be just fine. Right before I hop into this, just a bit of a caution or a disclaimer. Writing a business plan is very important, and I'm not saying that as a person who gets paid to write business plans as a cop-out. But what I'm saying is, especially with the onset of these AI tools, a lot of people are offloading some critical decision-making and thinking components in order to check the box of having a business plan. And that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having a business plan. Now, if you had a rare case where like you have someone just is begging to give you a loan and they say, just give me a business plan, I don't even care, then sure, maybe you don't need to really think about it. But even if, let's say you've been managing a business for a really long time and you have the chance to buy it from your boss and you feel like you know the business inside and out, I can assure you that owning a business is different than working inside the business. And there's things you have to think about that wouldn't be within your job description. And so I'm encouraging this exercise right here as something I would do rather than just saying like, hey, ChatGPT, write me a business plan. This is an approach that allows you to use those tools, but you retain the critical thinking and the driving of this component. Because at the end of the day, it is going to be an exercise. You need to be thinking through these things. And we're just going to use two very simple prompts, but I'm going to warn you, it's going to require work and effort on your part, but I promise you it'll be worth it. So I'm just going to use ChatGPT because that's probably the most common one people would use. And what I'm going to do and what we're going to have it do is we are going to have these tools guide us through thinking about every single component we need to that's going to go into a business plan. And so my first prompt is going to be, you're my expert business plan writing assistant, planning to start a coffee shop for whatever business you want. I want you to produce a simple but comprehensive outline for a business plan organized by subheading under each main section. Okay, so you can do this for any one of these tools and it should give you a pretty nice outline. Now, would I get nitpicky about the outline? Yes, because I have a preference on the order of the outline and some of the components I want to make sure included, but that just comes from my background, my experience, and what I like to write in a business plan and what I've seen to be effective for loan applications and all of that. But even doing this and following a business plan of this type of structure is going to put you far ahead of the average person. So first thing off the bat I'm noticing here is there's some things you probably just don't even need to think about. SWOT analysis, that kind of stuff. You really don't need to bother a whole lot with that, but that's okay. We just need to get an outline started. And then we're going to do, so if you want to read through that and there's things that stick out to you that need to be added or were missed or whatever, that's okay. But we're going to move on to our next prompt. Second prompt, and what we're going to do, so now we have our roadmap here. I'm going to say, now I want you to go one section at a time and ask me 5 to 10 questions that I need to answer in order to feel confident in my startup and to have information I need for a complete business plan worthy of lender or investor scrutiny. So this is turning this into an exercise, right? So instead of saying, hey, ChatGPT, write me a business plan, it's instead going to say like, tell me what I need to know in order for this business plan to be good and what needs to make sense. You know, what is the lender going to ask me? What needs to be known from that? And it's going to ask a ton of questions in here. Now, this is kind of going overkill on how many questions need to be asked. But again, I'm just going to say this. If you're considering, especially investing considerable amounts of money or taking a lot of risk by starting a business, it's worth spending hours planning and thinking about this. So it might be worth it to take more than 5 to 10 questions. And what I'm going to do, I mean, technically you could answer these in the chat window. That's probably not what I would do. What I would recommend doing is I would take these questions and I would put them in a Google Doc. And now is you're going to go through and you're going to answer these, right? So if it's Rock and Stone Cafe, right? They might be one word answers, others that may not be. But you're going to get into questions and things like, what are your top specific measurable goals? You're like, I might not know the answer to that. You might be able to give your best guess to that. So if you don't know the answer to that, highlight that. And that's something you need to go do homework. You can use AI. You can talk with it, ask for feedback. What's the best practice in that? Financial highlights. Now you're going to get into a section that is all about financial projections. And again, that's something you can try to work through. Do I have opinions and recommendations on how I would go about planning some of this? I think it makes sense. I think you can write a business plan for free. The financial projections, financial forecasts, I would probably hire someone or buy a template or something like that in order to create financial projections. That's just me, because that's a really critical component that a lot of people aren't super comfortable with the numbers. So having that expertise is really vital and really helpful. But this is a practice I would do. I would go through, even if you end up answering 100 questions, I can assure you, if you had a document here with all these questions and you put your best answer in for all of them, you essentially have a business plan written. It's just all in here, right? So then in theory, you could, once you're done answering all these questions, you could take that information, give it back to ChatGPT and have it write the business plan section by section for you. So that's not the point of today's video. I have another video that says how to write a whole business plan using ChatGPT. This is kind of one of the core components, but this is something I was talking with someone the other day and I was pitching to them and said, hey, we would be happy to write your business plan, do your financial projections. And rightfully so, they came back and said like, yes, I would love to hire you to do my financial projections. But respectfully, I think it's silly to pay someone to write my business plan because then I don't know anything about my business. And I said, you know what? I agree with you to a large extent. And that's right on the money. I think there are components of a business plan worth hiring an expert. That's not about today's video. But if you do an exercise like this, I assure you, you are going to have a business plan that is so much better than 90% of the business plans that are out there. And so hopefully this was helpful. Again, you can use any AI tool you want. What this really comes down to is this isn't a shortcut. It's using a tool to make your planning and your business plan and your concept and your confidence much higher than if you would just offload this to a tool and not really know the inner workings of your game plan. And you can feed it more information. Like I'm trying to buy my boss's business example. You probably have a lot more context you can give the tool to refine the question set for you into your specific situation, right? So you can do a little bit more of a contextual bio that you feed the tool before it starts the outline, and it'll kind of critique and make it more specific. But that's my recommendation. If you're considering starting a business that you're serious about, and especially considering forming the business, applying for financing for the business, anything like that, and you're going to have to do a business plan, you should want to do a business plan anyways. This is my approach. Use these tools to ask you the hard questions so you can answer all of them and feel confident that you've thought about all of these different areas and components of the business. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below about your specific situation, or you can contact us at support@ProjectionHub.com. Our website, we offer financial projections. We offer help with business plans. We offer help with preparing for financing and finding lenders and all of that stuff. So we'd be happy to answer any questions if you have them. But I wish you the best of luck. Give this a shot. Let us know if it works for you, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.